Hi everyone, welcome to Maplytics webinar. This is Sushma, Business Manager at iNogic, and we are back with another powerful release of Maplytics, which will help you to automate your processes and make them even easier and simpler. All lines will be muted during this webinar. If you have any questions, you can type in into the chat window, and we'll be having a Q&A session at the end of the webinar where I'll be answering you all of your questions. The presentation deck and the webinar recording will be shared after this webinar. So let me give a quick brief about iNogic. So iNogic is one of the leading service providers and an ISV. We have been into the business for more than a decade now, and our blogs are also well known among the CRM community. Apart from Maplytics, we have also been focusing on building productivity apps which reduce multiple steps in CRM with one-click solutions. You can see a few of our offerings listed over the slide over here. Besides developing apps, we are also a system integrator. We assist our partners and customers with offshore development services. If you would like to discuss any requirements for the same, you can contact us at crm@inogic.com. Now let's have a look on today's agenda for this webinar. So we'll be having a quick overview over the features that have been added to this latest release and which will be followed with the live demonstration. I'll also launch a poll where you can vote in for the features that you like the most, and at the end we'll be having a Q&A session. So as we are much familiar about Maplytics, it is a locational intelligence tool that will help you to plot all of your dynamic CRM entities on the map. It is available for CRM 2013 and above, Dynamics 365, online, on-premises, partner-hosted, IFD, and Power Apps. So let's have a quick look over the list of features that we have for today's webinar. So we'll start with the detail map control. So this is a PCF control that you can add to any of the data set or the grid in order to visualize the records on the map right there on the page. So you do not need to switch to any other map pages in order to perform Maplytics features. And you can perform the Maplytics features within this detail map control. The second feature that we'll be going through is auto scheduling. So auto scheduling, you can use this feature to create multi-day optimized schedule for your multiple users. So this will be an automated process to create the schedule for your users. In fact, you'll also be able to consider the existing meetings if they are already created into the CRM. Next, we'll be going through the territory management. So within this release, we have added the ability of creating territories automatically. You'll be able to create balanced territory based on the count of records automatically. And you can also be able to save your progress as draft territories. So let's say you want to rework on the draft after some time, so you can just open the draft territory and you'll be able to rework on the same the moment you left before. And the last two features that we'll be going through is associate records and set regarding. So using associate records, you'll be able to associate a single record with multiple records that you have plotted on the map. And using set regarding, while sending bulk emails to multiple records, you can set a particular record as regarding into the mails. So let's start with a live demonstration, and I am here into my demo instance. So here you can see that we'll be starting with the first feature, which is detail map control. So here you can see I have opened one of the view for the accounts, and you can see all of the records from this particular view have been plotted over here on the map right here on this page. So this is because I have added this detail map control to this particular view. So you can add this detail map control to any of the grid or the data set to visualize all of your dynamic CRM data for that particular view on the map pages, on the map right here on the CRM page. And you do not need to go to the detail map in order to perform Maplytics features. So here you can see that the data has been plotted, and into this release we have added many more Maplytics features that you can perform within this detailed map control. Like here, you can see all of the records from this particular view have been plotted over here, right? So now let's say I want to filter these records based on region or a drawn shape. I can surely do that using the option by region. So here you can see there are so many options listed over here. So let's say I want to, you can filter the records based on the city, state or county, etc. So let's say I want to filter it based on postal codes, and let me just give some values for the postal code over here, and I'll give the name of the country, and I'll just click on search. Sorry. So here you can see the records have been filtered based on the postal codes that I have entered. I can click on the postal codes and it will get highlighted, and it will also show me a summary card that will contain the details of the records that fall under the postal codes. So this is how you can filter based on any particular region that you want. And further, let's say I want to filter my records based on a region that can't be defined by the official geographical boundaries. So what I'll do, I'll just use the second option, which is by drawing. So you can see this is a drawing tool. I can choose any drawing tool to draw a shape. Let it be the polygon, circle, square, or a freehand drawing. So I can just choose freehand drawing, and let me draw a shape over here. So here I have drawn a shape, or let's say I'll choose circle as well, and here I'll just draw the shape and I'll just click on search. So here this will filter the records that lie only into these drawn shapes, right? So just like earlier, you can just click on these drawn shapes, it will get highlighted, and you'll also be getting a summary card will show all of the details of the records that fall under the drawn shape. Right. So this is how, using by region and by drawing, you will be able to filter the records based on any particular region or any drawn shapes. Now that you have plotted the records from the default value over here, you will also be able to categorize the records as well. So for example, I want to categorize these account records based on industry. So I can just choose this attribute from this list. So these attributes are basically the fields within the account form itself. So I can just choose industry and I'll click on search. So this will categorize my records into based on the industry. So you can see this is the category card that will help you to read which push pin represents which industry. So these categorization come from the backend. Within the settings, how you have configured the categorization, it will come accordingly here. So you can see the various push pins are showing various ranges or various industries based on the which into it falls into. And likewise, here you can see that within the plot card, you also have the option of plus. So which means that apart from this default value that gets already plotted, on which you have put the detail map control, you will also be able to add two more entities to plot on the map. For example, let's say I'll choose contacts over here and the respective view, and let's say I'll choose leads over here and the respective view. Okay, so here I have chosen contacts and leads, which means that I want to plot contacts and leads as well along with the accounts. So I'll click on search over here. So now it will plot two more entities, which are contacts and leads, along with the default view of the accounts. So here you can see the leads and contacts have also been plotted. Now that you have plotted so many layers of data, so you can just go to the layer menu in order to show or hide any particular layer of data that you do not want to see right now. Right. So here you can see these are the contacts and the leads that have been plotted. And you can see there's an icon of eye as well. So what is the use of it? If I just click on this icon, it will show me the labels of the respective icons like this. So I can just show or hide the labels of the icons as well. Right. So this is the use of the layer menu over here. And now that I have plotted three entities, let's just categorize all of the three entities. So you do have the option to categorize all of the three entities as well. So for example, I'll just choose owner within this list. So so as to categorize my contacts based on the owners, and let me categorize my leads based on the rating. So here I have chosen the two different attributes for the contacts and leads, and here it will categorize all of the three entities based on the three attributes that I have selected. So here you can see accounts has been categorized based on the industry, contacts has been categorized based on the owner, and likely the leads have been categorized based on rating. So this is how you will be able to categorize more than one entities as well within this same detail map control. Right. Now further, you'll be able to perform many more Maplytics features within this map itself. So let's say you are on the field, or let's say you are using Maplytics within the desktop as well. So you want to search for the nearby records. So you can do so using the feature of radius search, or what we call as proximity search. So anywhere on the map, you can just right click and you'll be having the option to set as current location. So I can set the location as the current location. In fact, if you are using this Maplytics on the field, like within the mobile or the tablet, you'll be having an additional button at the right hand side, which is the locate me button. So if you click on locate me button, so that will fetch the current GPS location of your device, and it will plot that as the current location. So this is how, using this radius search, you will also be able to search for the nearby records around your current GPS location as well. So now within my desktop over here, I'll just right click anywhere on the map and I have selected a current location. And now to search for the radius, so I'll just put some radii over here. So at a max, you can put 3 radii and I'll click on search. So here, based on the three radii, it will give three concentric circles plotted over here. So you can click on any circle to get that circle highlighted, and you will be able to see the summary card for the records that are within that circle as well. So this is how you will be able to see how many records are there within the vicinity around your current location. And further, you can also see, you can just hover on any push pin or you can click on any push pin to see the line of sight distance as well. So what is the use of this line of sight distance? While you are on the field, you will be able to understand which push pin is far or near based on your current location. So this line of sight distance is basically the straight line distance from the current location. So you'll be understand the proximity of the various records that are nearby towards the current location of yours. So this is how, using proximity search or what you call the radius search, you'll be able to search for all of the nearby records as well. And now you'll also be able to create an optimized routes as well. So for example, I'll just right click anywhere on the map or the location or the record. I can right click on it and I have the option of setting it as origin, setting it as destination, or adding to a route. So let's say I'll choose add to route over here. Now here you can see two more waypoints have appeared by itself. Right. The reason for this is that within my configuration detail record, I have already chosen the default locations for the origin and destination. And whenever I try to create an optimized route, it will fetch that default locations for the origin and destination. Right. So this is how you will be getting the route plotted for the records that you have selected. And you'll also be able to select these options as well. For example, if you want to see the optimization to be into shortest distance or shortest time, so you can select that optimization that you require. You can select whether you want to avoid highways or let's say avoid toll roads, or if you want to see the traffic on the map or not. Right. So this is how you will be able to create optimized routes, and further you will also be able to send this route to any particular user as well. So this is how you can send this route to any user, and the user will get the links to for the turn by turn navigations, and the person will be able to follow the route that you have sent it. Right. And if you are following this route yourself using this detail map control, you have the option of navigating yourself. So you can just click on open navigation links, and here you have various links. So you can click on these links, and this will lead you to the Google Maps so as to get the turn by turn navigation directions. So by default, it will open into the Google Maps. However, we also support another app which is called Waze app, WAZE. So every user can have their own preferences whether they want to navigate within the Google Maps or the Waze app. Right. So by default, it will open into the Google Maps. But if you require, you can just set it into your configuration detail record as Waze, and it will open into the Waze app while you navigate yourself. Now, while you are following a route, you also have the option to search for the POI locations as well. Let's say any meeting got cancelled, or let's say you want to reschedule a meeting on any other place, so you can do so using the POI location as well. So let's say I'll just choose any particular location on the map, and I can set it as POI location. So here you can see there are so many icons over here. So let's say I'll just choose cafe over here. So here all of the cafe that are existing around my POI location, that will be plotted on the map. And also you have several other options as well. So here within this list, you have so many locations listed over here. So let's say you do not find the location that you want to plot on the map within this list. So what do you do that then? So here you can just put a keyword over here so as to search for the location for that keyword. So I can click on search over here, and you can see the respective locations have also been plotted over here. Right. So this is how you can search for the point of interest locations while you are on the go on the field. So this is how you will be able to perform the Maplytics features right here on this page within this detail map control, or you do not need to go to any other map pages. So it makes it very easy while working on your CRM records along with the concept of the geography as well. Now let's move on to the next feature that we have on the list, which is auto scheduling. So let me open the detail map for that. So what is the use of auto scheduling? So auto scheduling is basically used for creating automated plan for your users. So let me quickly plot some records over here. So let's just assume that these are these I have plotted the accounts. So let's just assume that these are the accounts that I want my salesperson to go and visit. So my salesperson would need an optimized schedule to follow, so that they will give more efficiently productivity while they are on the field. So here I'll just quickly go to the view data grid, and I'll go to the mass actions, and here I have the option of auto scheduling. So I click on that, and this will consider all of the account records that I have plotted on the map, and it will lead me to the auto scheduling section. So this is the auto scheduling section, and this is the card for auto scheduling. So this card basically will help you to put in some values for the preferences that you want to consider while creating the schedule. Like for example, you will be able to select the schedule start date, or you can also select the option of consider existing meetings. So this is very useful if you have any existing appointments already created within the CRM. So obviously you will need to consider them as well if you are creating any schedule. So you can just tick on that. So this will consider the existing meetings as well. Now further, you have the option to select the users. So the users, the salesperson who are going on the field, who will be following this route, you can select them. So let's say I'll select Joe and Robert over here. And further, you can select the number of days the schedule should be for. So basically, auto scheduling can also be used to create the schedule for more than a day as well. So you can select the period for that, and you can select the duration for the meetings as well. Now further, you have the option to select the start time, end time, break time for the day, and the break duration, as well as buffer time, so as to make sure that your salesperson is on time for the meeting. You can also select which days within the week your salesperson would work. Now we have added into this release, we have added this advanced preferences. So advanced preferences basically will tell you the details about the users, the records that you are running the auto scheduling on to, and the existing meetings as well. So let's understand them one by one. So this is user details. So here you can see the users that I have selected. So these are mentioned over here, and you can see origin and destination values are also there. So basically within the configuration detail records of Joe and Smith, they have set the default locations for the origin and destination, which is why when I select them within the auto scheduling, those default origin and destination get selected over here, right? However, you can surely change these locations as well. So you can edit it using the edit button. Now further, you have the option to select how many meetings per day should be. So let's say I'll choose 5, and I'll be explaining this in a while. So let's go for the meeting details. So here you can see these are basically the records itself, the account records that I earlier plotted. Right. So here you can select or deselect any particular record that you do not want to consider while creating the schedule. Or else you can also just filter the records based on any particular value as well. Now here in the practical world, it's not necessary all the time that all the meetings will get the same, will take the same time, right? So which is why we have given this option where you can just put in the duration for individual meetings as well. So if you think that any meeting might take lesser or more time for the meeting, so that you can just put in the value for that as well. Now the third tab is existing meetings. Right. So here you can see that I have selected consider existing meeting option over here. So here you can see the one of the existing meetings have been listed over here. So this is because there was an already existing meeting scheduled for Joe. So this has been listed over here. So now the two options that I left earlier were reschedule existing meetings. So what is reschedule existing meetings? So let's say if it's okay to make any changes while while creating the schedule, if it's okay to make any changes to the existing meetings, like for example, if you can, if it's okay to change the owners or the date and time for the existing meetings, so then you can choose it as yes. So this will consider only the offsite meeting. Now, if in case, if it's not okay to make the changes to the existing meetings, and the existing meetings are supposed to be met on the same day and time by the same owner, so you can just choose no for this. Okay. Now, what is continuous schedule? So this option is mostly used for the schedules which are scheduled for more than a day. So let's say that one of the salesperson has started his journey for the first day within the postal code 10307, right? And while traveling, the salesperson reaches till here, somewhere over here, 10308 postal code. Now, to start the journey for the next day, the second day, instead of going back to the first location of the first day, origin, you can allow him to continue his traveling for the second day from the destination of the first day, right? So this is what we call to be a continuous schedule. So if you click it, select it as yes, so you are allowing the salesperson to continue his schedule for the second day from the destination of the first day. So the salesperson does not need to go back to the origin of the first day. So here you can use it as per your requirement. So if you want a continuous schedule, sorry, so you can just set it as yes, or you can just set it as no, right? So here I have given all of my preferences that I want to consider while creating the schedule, and I'll just click on proceed. So this will now read the values that I have entered for the preferences. It will calculate the availability of the users that I have selected, and further it will give you an optimized schedule. Right. And in fact, auto scheduling can also be used for the field service as well. So if you want to create an optimized schedule for your technicians, so you can just run the auto scheduling on the work orders, and you will be able to get optimized schedule by selecting the resources for which you want to create the optimized schedule for. And further, it will also be giving you the option to create the bookable resource bookings as well. And in fact, if you have the delivery guys as well, so you can select the drivers as well within the users, and it will consider the availability of the drivers, and it will give you the optimized schedule so as to let the field reps travel the shortest time as well on the field. So here you can see that the routes has been created, and you can see the routes has been created into two different colors. So this is because it has a set like that, so that you can differentiate between the routes for the two different users, right? You can also go for the next day as well to see the route for the next day. So this is how you will be able to see the routes for the both of the users as well. So you can select any particular users as well if you want to see the route for that particular user. Right. So this is the route that has been scheduled, and these are the appointments that has been scheduled. So these appointments have not been saved yet. So in order to save them, you have to click on create activity button. So here you will be able to select the appointments, service activities, or the bookable resource bookings. Right. So here I'll be selecting appointments. I can give the subjects. I can select the date over here, and I can select the priority. And further, I can click on create route. Right. So here, once I click on create, what will happen? All of these routes and the appointments that I have just scheduled will be saved under the CRM within the activities. So this is how you will be able to use auto scheduling to create multi-day routes for your multiple users, along with the considerations if you have any existing meetings already created into the CRM. And further, you will be able to create those routes and create appointments, service activities, or the bookable resource bookings within the CRM. So let's move on to the next feature that we have on the list, which is the territory management. So I can just click on the go back button to go for the detail map. So we have already the section of territory management, so I'll go for that. So within this release, we have added the ability to create the territories automatically. You will be able to create balanced territories automatically based on the distribution of the count of records that you want. Right. So for this, I will select the by file option over here, and I'll choose the option to select any file. So here the file formats have been written over here that are supported. So you can select any file. So I have selected one of the Excel files that I have. So here you have to put in some values so as to get the perfect boundaries from your Excel file or the shapefile. So here I have to select which of the boundaries should I plot. So whether I want to get the boundary for city, or let's say state, country, county, or postal codes, etc. So within my Excel file, I have the boundaries for the postal codes. So here I have to select postal code over here. Now region value. So within this field, you have to select the column within the Excel file which states the value of the postal codes. So here I have to select this particular column because it contains all of the values of the postal codes that I want to plot. Now select country. Within this field, you have to select that particular column from the Excel file which mentions the value for the biggest region for your within your Excel file. So here into my Excel file, the biggest region that I have is the state. So I'll select this particular column and now I'll click on plot. So this will plot the shapes, the regions, all of the regions that I have within the Excel file. And you can also change the color of the Excel files as well. Right. So here you can see all of the regions that I have within my Excel file has been plotted over here. Now what I want is I want to create the territories, multiple territories out of these regions based on the distribution of my records. So I have to plot the records which I want to distribute into these territories. So here let me plot some records within this region. So I have selected the account records that fall under this regions that I have plotted on the map. So the records have been plotted and now I can just select this selection tool and I can use the selection tool to select the regions from which I want to create the territories. So here I have selected all of the regions because I want to distribute all of these regions into multiple territories. So I can just right click on the selected region and I have to click on create territory. Right. So here I will go to the create multiple territories option. So let's say I want to create 3 territories out of these selected regions based on the distribution of the records that I have plotted. So I'll just enter 3 over here and I'll click on proceed. So this will calculate the count of records. It will distribute it. And here you can see it has given me 3 different territories. So here you can also change the color of the territories that you have created over here. Right. So you can select any particular color that you want to put on your territories. And further, you can see the 3 territories have been named by default. So you can also change the name of the territories as well. And here you can select the managers. So all those users who have not been set as managers for any territory has been listed into this particular list. So you can select any particular user as the territory manager for your territories. Now here within this actions, you have several options. So first option is create. So let's say you are satisfied with the distribution of the records within these territories and you want to create these territories into the CRM. So you can just click on create and this will sorry, this will create all of these 3 territories within the CRM, within the territory entity, right? And once the territories get created, it will also ask whether you want to assign these territories to these records as well. So this is how it becomes so easy to create multiple territories that are balanced based on the count of records that you have put, and further it will also assign those territories to the respective records as well. So it solves a whole process of territory management within a few minutes. Now here you also have the second option, which is save. So basically, let's say you're not very satisfied with this territory and you want to work more for on this territory management, and let's say you want to take the opinion from your colleague. So in that case, you can just give a name over here and you'll be able to save these territories as a draft territory. And once you are ready to rework on these territories, you can just open the draft territory again and you can rework on them. I'll show you the draft territory in a while. Now the third option that is there, which is a realignment. So here, let's say you do not want 3 territories. Instead, you want 4 territories. So here you can just enter 4 number over here and you can click on proceed. So it will recalculate the count of records and here you can see it has given me 4 different territories, right? So again, I can change the name of the territories, I can select the managers, I can say, change the color as well. So this is how, using the realignment option, you can just change the number of territories and it will recalculate the count of records to provide you the balanced number of territories that you have entered. So this is how the automatic territories can be created using this territory management. Now let's talk about the draft territories. Let me just refresh the map so as to make it simpler to look. So here I'll just go for territory management, and here I have the option of by territory. Sorry. So here within this list, I can just select a draft territory that I had earlier saved. Right. So I can click on these draft territories. So this will plot the same draft territory that you had earlier saved, and it will be plotted just like that the moment you left before. Right. So now that you are ready to rework on them, you can just plot the draft territory and you can further take actions like realigning it based on the count of records, or if you want to create it into the CRM, you can do so. Or let's say you want to rework on it again, so you can just save it again as a draft, and the draft will be updated. Right. So this is how you can use the draft territories to save your progress, and this will avoid any losses of efforts that you have put into the territory management. Now within this release, we have added another option of by overlay. So let me just refresh this map to make it easier to understand this feature of by overlay. So many of the Maplytics users might already be familiar of what is overlay. So we already had this feature. So here we have merged this feature within this territory management as well. So here by overlay. So what is use of the overlay? Overlay is used to plot more layers of data on the map. So here I have the whole list of all of the shapefiles or the Excel files that I have saved within my CRM, and it will also show some of the default shapefile or Excel files that we provide by default. So while you import the Maplytics solution into the dynamic CRM, there's a button called configure. So if you click on that, it will configure some of the default files that are shape files and Excel files that come along with the Maplytics solution. So these are you can see some of the census data as well. So these are the default files that Maplytics provide while you configure Maplytics into your dynamic CRM. Right. So let's choose one of the files that I had saved into the CRM, which is New York shapefile. Now here I have the attributes to select. So what is category attribute? So I have the option whether I want to categorize my the regions that will be plotted out of this shapefile. So here let me choose population, which means that I want to categorize my these regions based on the population. And further, summary attributes. So what is summary attributes? Whenever you click on the regions that will be plotted by the shapefile, you will be able to see a card with some values in it, right? So here you see some of the attributes have already been selected. So the reason for this is that within the territory entity where I have saved this particular shapefile, there's a section where you can configure the shapefile. So within that section, you can configure whether you want to categorize it or not, what color do you want to see into for the regions, and what attributes do you want to see on the hover or summary card. So this, which is why it has got fetched over here. So you can add many more attributes as well. So here I'll click on plot, and this will plot the regions that we have into this shapefile. So here you can see the regions have been plotted, and you can see the regions have been plotted into various colors. This is based on the categorization based on the population that I had selected earlier. right? So this is the category card, and this will show me the population of into various ranges. So these colors help you to read where the population is more, where the population is lesser. So in fact, if even if you have your own census data, like for example you have a census data file that that specifies your target audience. For example, for your business, the target audience is a particular range of age of people, or let's say you target the audience based on their income or their gender, whatever demographics is necessary for your target audience, you can just plot that census data file on this map using this feature overlay. So this is how you will be able to see the demographics on this map as well. Now, very common use case of this overlay is to analyze where you want to expand your business more, right? So to do this, I'll just choose by territory option, and I want to plot some of the territories that I have already created into my CRM. So let me choose the territories over here. So I have chosen some of the territories that have already been created into the CRM. So what I'm trying to do is that I want to compare where I have already created the territories and where I can create more territories so as to expand my business into new areas where I haven't expanded my business yet. Right. So you have the territories plotted as well. So you can see the bifurcation between the layer menu, the layer of data that has been plotted by territory management card, and the layer of data that has been plotted using the plot records card, right? So this is how you can differentiate between the different layers as well. So let me just hide the layers. So here, so I have hidden the shape file that I have plotted so as to make it visible the particular territories that I have plotted on the map. So these are the existing territories that I have plotted on the map, which are already existing into my CRM. So these are the territories where my salespeople are already working, and they are bringing leads and bringing the and making them into our customers and bringing revenue from their work. Right. So now I have plotted the shape file as well, and this shape file shows me the demographics based on the population. So here I've categorized it based on the population. So let's say my target audience is the place where the population is the highest, right? So which is why I have categorized it based on the ranges of population. So within this, I can just see where the population is the highest, and I can select that particular area and I can click on it, and so as to create the territory, right? So here I can click on it and this will become a territory. So this is how you can just click on any particular area as well to see the summary card, to see all of the attributes that you had earlier selected on this particular summary card, so that you will be able to analyze into which area your target population is more and which area your target population is lesser. So you can select the required area and you will be able to create territories. So once you create the territories, you can assign these territories to the salespeople so that they can further occupy and cover more new areas that you haven't expanded your business yet, and they can go and meet the clients so as to fulfill their requirements for your services or the products and bring more revenue and more productivity from new areas as well, right? So this is how, using territory management, you'll be able to create territories automatically. You'll be able to save those territories as a draft as well, and in fact you will be able to analyze your market situation based on the demographics files that you have, and you'll be able to make strategies how and where you have to expand your business into more areas as well. So this was the territory management, and let's move ahead to the last two features of today's webinar, which is associate records and set regarding. So let's understand what is associate records. So let's say I want to select one particular account and I want to associate that account with multiple contact records, right? So here, let me open one of the record of account from the detail map control itself. So here, this is the account record, which is T Robert Henry. So I can just right click on it from the detail map control, and I can also open the record. So basically, you have to first open the record that you want to associate with, right? So here the record has opened T Robert, and now what I'll do, I'll just select three ellipses over here in order to open the map. So here you have to open the map from that particular record that you want to associate with multiple records. So here the respective record, single record has been plotted on the map, and now I want to associate this single record with multiple contact records. So here I'll choose the contacts over here, and here I'll choose the respective view. So these are my contact records to which I want to associate this particular account record. So as to associate it, I'll choose the feature of associate records from the mass actions. So here I can just select the associate record over here, and this will open this window. So you can see that the account record that I earlier opened, which is the T Robert, so this account record has been selected by default over here, right? And here you can also select the relationships as well. So you can select the relationship based on which you want to associate these records, and further you can click on proceed. So this will associate this particular account record to multiple contact records based on this relationship that you have selected, right? So now let's move on to the last feature that we have on the list for today's webinar, which is set regarding. So let's say I want to send bulk emails to all of these contact records. Now, I also want the contact records to understand that the mails that were sent by me was regarding a particular account, right? So I want to go to the send email over here. So here within this, you can select a new email, you can create a new email template, or you can select an existing template. Further, you will be able to select whether you want to have the recipients as 2CC or BCC. Now further, you have the option of set regarding, right? So the reason here you can see T Robert has already been set within this field, right? The reason here is that again, I had opened T Robert account and I went to the map button within that record of T Robert, which is why it has set this T Robert option, right? So you can just click on proceed. This will send bulk emails to all of the contact records that you have plotted on the map, and it will also set this account record T Robert as regarding within all of those mails. So this was the use of set regarding feature. So this was the major highlight that we have added into our latest release. So I have covered the major highlights of the release, and in fact we are also working on our upcoming release, which will be towards probably into April, and into that we are coming with many new features, where the most powerful feature will be the live tracking. So using live tracking, you'll be able to real time, you'll be able to track your resources within real time. So you can use it into the field service, and you can track your resources within the real time for their locations that they are moving on the field, right? So now let's move ahead, and if you haven't upgraded the Maplytics solution into your CRM, so you can just go to the Microsoft App Source or our Maplytics website. So you can just download the Maplytics solution, the latest Maplytics solution, and you can upgrade it into the CRM. And those who are new for this Maplytics, you can just download the solution, and you can start a free trial for 15 days. Now let me launch a poll that I have, and you can just vote for the features that you think that is most useful for your business requirements, or the feature that you like the most. So please vote for the features that you like the most. So I'll wait for a few seconds more. You can vote for the features that you think that is most useful for your business requirements. So I'll end this poll in a few seconds. Okay, so I think everybody has voted for their most useful features. So I'll just end the poll now. Now let's start with the Q&A session, and please type in the questions that you want to ask me. Okay, Josh has asked, will you send a link or copy of this recording? This is great info, and I would like to review it again. Great job. Thanks, Scott. Thank you so much, Scott, for the appreciation. Yes, we will surely send you the recording and the presentation as well to you, so you can just review the whole session again. And if you want to schedule another demo for specifically based on your mapping requirements, you can just contact me at crm@inochic.com, and I'll be glad to schedule another demo as well. Mueller has asked, can you create balanced territory based on revenue? Okay, so as of now, we had provided only the option to create balanced territory based on the count of records. However, we are working on this feature where you'll be able to create the balanced territories based on balanced distribution of the revenue as well. So we are working on it, and most probably it will be available into our upcoming release, which will be towards April. So please type in if you have any questions. Okay, Dave has asked a question, whether I can add the detail map control on the custom entity. So yeah, you can surely add the detail map control on your custom entity as well. Richard has asked a question, can we create bookable resource bookings using auto scheduling? Yeah, you can use auto scheduling for sales as well as field service. If you're using auto scheduling for field service, you can run the auto scheduling for the work orders, and you'll be able to get the optimized schedule, which will also allow you to create bookable resource bookings for your resources. Pat has asked a question, whether I can create multiple territories using balanced territory feature. Okay, so yeah, if you want to create multiple territories, you can just put in the number of territories that you want to create within the territory management, and it will allow you to create those many multiple territories that will be balanced based on the count of records that you have plotted on the map. Henry has asked whether the detail map control will be available into the mobile. So yeah, if you are using, you can surely use Maplytics into the mobile as well. So there comes an app which is called Dynamic CRM app for phones. You can just go and download it from the App Store or the Play Store, and within that you can just use the credentials of your online environment, and you can log into your environment, and further you'll be able to use Maplytics just the way I have shown it. So if you have added the detail map control over any entity within your instance, so you will be able to see the detail map control within mobile as well. Dave has asked, what if the meeting takes different durations? Will auto scheduling consider that? Yeah, into practical world, obviously there are some situations where different meetings can take different timings. So the within the auto scheduling, there is an option where you can set different values for the durations for different meetings. So you can surely do that. And while creating the optimized schedule, it will consider all of the durations that you have put into. Sarah has asked a question. Can I assign territories to the user from the map? Yeah, you can surely assign the territories to the user as well. While creating the territories, there is an option within the card where you can select the managers. So all of the users which are free, basically which have not been set as territory managers of any territory, those users will be listed down within that list. You can select any users and those will be set as territory manager for the territory. Okay, so please type in if you have any questions. Patrick has asked a question whether the associate record can work for the activity entity as well. So yeah, you can associate the activities to any entity as well. You can surely use associate records for activity entity as well. So I'll be waiting for a few minutes more. You can just type in if you have any questions. You can ask me. Please type the questions if you have any. Okay, so I guess I have answered all of your questions. So if you have any further questions that you want to ask me, you can just contact me at crm@inotic.com and I'll be glad to answer all of your questions. And you can also let me know if you want to schedule another demo specifically based on your mapping requirements. I'll be glad to do so that as well. So thank you again for attending this webinar. We'll be probably be meeting again soon into our upcoming webinar, which will be towards April while we come up with another new release. So till then, keep using Maplytics and thanks again. Bye bye. Take care.